Hello, and thank you for coming. Today, we'll be going over the topics of the ever changing Canadian climate. More specifically, the heat in the summers and how it can be too hot to handle, and the way that Canadians go about to adapting and improving their lives. So, we'll be going over the challenges, some of the more clean energy methods, such as solar, the something called smart energy, the engineering solutions, and something else called the interdisciplinary collaboration and implementation. Now, challenges over the past years are very evident just by using the last few weeks as examples. We've had temperatures in the plus 10s to 15s all the way to freezing rain, which has left many, many people without power. So the drastic differences cause complications in many people's lives, whether it be the damages caused or the inconveniences that are the tail end of the temperatures, mainly the heat. Um, so there's a thing called the urban heat island effect, where areas like Toronto, they face amplified heat due to materials like asphalt, concrete, raising the temperatures further. And due to the buildings constantly surrounding the area and the height of them, they retain that heat. There's not a lot of room for wind to flow accurately to allow the place to cool down. So they don't have too many alternatives to reduce their temperatures, and extreme heat poses health risks such as heat stroke, dehydration, respiratory issues, especially with those in more vulnerable populations, such as homeless, elderly, or those with pre existing health conditions. So, some of the ways that you can go about it is by using clean energy, such as solar or wind powered. So, solar panels, they provide abundant electricity during peak sunlight hours, and in many cases, there are unproduced land where they haven't been essentially repurposed after, say, a gas station has been taken down because the area is contaminated and people can't live on it. But that's not to say that we can't build on it and make use of the land for the 12 to 50 years that it could potentially stay unused for while the area cleanses itself just naturally. So they'll be using the solar panels during the peak sunlight hours to absorb the rays of the sun to generate heat to power more energy efficient AC systems and reducing the reliance on fossil fuels, which other people might be using for generators to power their AC systems. The other thing would be the excess energy from the solar panels that are created can be stored in batteries for use during non-sunny periods, improving the efficiency and reliability. Like I had mentioned before, the constant change in flipping between the temperatures and the weather, there might be times where we do not have extreme heat and we would be reliant on that stored backup energy. So, the engineering solutions would be very straightforward. We can use smart grids to optimize the energy distribution through using sensors and algorithms. Now, these sensors would mostly just be dictating or would be measuring the existing humidity and temperature on multiple surfaces to see where the heat would be most affected so that they could distribute the energy for those AC systems more efficiently and not waste the power that is being generated. So the other ones would be the mechanical engineering aspects, where the energy efficient HVAC systems would use a variable refrigerant flow to properly adjust any sort of cooling output based on the room occupancy. Now, if a room would only require 5, 10 people in it at max, it wouldn't need as many as, say, larger rooms with higher ceilings to allow for heat to rise to circulate the air conditioning better. Now, the energy efficient building designs would be a major additional plus where you could use materials that reflect heat instead of materials that would absorb heat, such as green roofs and reflective coatings to lower the indoor temperatures. That way, the sensors that would be implemented earlier wouldn't have really any need to work in a type of overtime so that the energy that is being distributed is more efficiently used and recycled within its own systems. Now, the interdisciplinary collaboration implementation would be the involvement of government and community. So, what the government would have to do is they'd have to develop policies where the engineers would have to work with the government agencies to implement these sustainable solutions, such as incentives for the solar panel installations and energy efficient appliances. One of them being when you are using solar energy, the main priority would be to power your own homes. So, in doing so, when you're generating your own electricity, you would be saving costs. And in doing so, you would be generating energy throughout your whole day. So, anywhere where you're not using lights or existing power, you essentially are able to store up on energy and sell it back to the to hydro and make back some money to further cushion the financial blow of installing these panels or having them long term. Having them long term has them pay for themselves. So the government would have to improve or implement these existing plans in order to make this a feasible design. The community involvement would obviously be a very vital role here. If just one or two people are powering their homes, then maybe they're only generating enough extra power to run a third house's AC for 30 minutes at a time. But if every single house in an area were to have just a few panels on their roof, the amount of power generated would be monumental. And if they are promoting all these sustainable practices, then educational programs would be able to teach future generations about them to just kind of keep the ball rolling in order to grow all of these incredible means of energy saving and designs to help people improve their lives. The energy that is used from these solar panels would be very vital in powering any of the air conditioning units that would be en masse implemented throughout people's homes, businesses, and even more in more public places like community centers. Thank you very much for your time.